welcome to the Coffee With. First of all, what's your order?
Oat milk, flat white. I've went for today. Just not like allergy or anything. Just preference for oat milk. Nice. My order normally.
You much a coffee drinker?
Yeah, I do. I like it. To be fair, I was trying to get a Ninja coffee machine in the house for months. I was boring the lads with that every day because it kept getting sold out and stuff. But we've finally got one in the house now, so it's I do like my coffee.
Worth it.
Definitely, definitely.
Yeah. We've got you here on a day off, actually. So thank you for spending your time with us. What would a typical day off for you look like?
Just chilling normally. I like to just put my feet up, try and just. I listen to an audio book at the minute, trying to get into reading and stuff and work on like the mental side of the game and stuff. So I like to do that for a couple of hours and really focus on that. But other than that, just switch off really and rest and go for a walk with my missus who's down here, and just try and spend time with friends and family really as much as I can. But obviously it's hard down here, so just doing things like that really.
What are you listening to at the minute then in terms of audio book?
It's called Limitless. I'm not sure who it's by. After don't quote us on who it is, but it's good. It's like about how you can sort of expand your mental capacity and how you can really sort of learn to learn it. There's a lot of it, so it's good, and I feel like it's sort of helping us with my mindset and my way of thinking on the pitch and stuff. So I like to try and use that.
Mindset's massive, isn't it? And growing in terms of the focus and the importance that's placed on it.
It is, yeah. I think it's overlooked a lot. I think when I was at Newcastle, I spent a lot of time reading and I did a lot of the sort of mindset stuff. But it's one of them things where if you don't kind of stick at it, you do kind of just put it down. And I didn't do it for a while, and I didn't feel like it was sort of massively detrimental to us, but I just felt like I could definitely unlock that extra sort of percentages, and I feel like that's what I'm trying to do now. Just trying to get any kind of gains that I can get off the pitch. That'll help us on the pitch as well. So I think that's probably a big part of it, really.
You spoke to Cops about it much?
I haven't spoke to Cops too much about it, but obviously I know he's got his book, and he's someone I lean on quite a lot for sort of little bits of advice, and obviously he played a big role in us sort of signing here, and I get on really well with him. So he's someone I speak to quite a lot, and I think obviously the more I get into sort of this kind of thing, I'm sure we'll be having a lot more conversations about it and getting to know a bit more and just picking his brains about it really.
Usually we do these after training. What do you do with them few hours that you get after training?
Well, normally if we get back, say 2-3 o'clock, just watch a bit of daytime telly, to be honest. Normally watch a bit of Deal or No Deal or something, or have a laugh for watching something that's on the TV and just wait for me missus to finish work. She normally finishes about 5:30, and then we like to do something on a night time, whether it's go for a walk around the lake or watch a series or go to the gym, or just little things to keep each other busy and try and have a laugh really, and just enjoy our nights.
What is it that she does?
So she just works like in customer service. So she works from home, 8:30 till 5:30. So she has long days, to be fair to her. Bless her. But when she's finished, we like to try and do a lot. And obviously on our dinner times when I'm off, we try and go for walks. Because obviously it was a big thing for her coming to live down here with me. Obviously I've got the football, so for me it's quite easy going out and playing the footy and seeing the lads. But obviously for her, she's in the office at home, and she only really speaks to our work colleagues over sort of video calls and stuff. So it's obviously a bit different for her. But we try and get out and do as much as we can, and she tries to see Jamie Sterry's missus as much as she can, who's obviously really, really close with, and obviously sometimes it's tough with the kids. Obviously she finishes 5:30, and by then it's sort of Jamie's kids' bedtime, so sometimes it's a bit difficult, but they watch the matches together sometimes when we're away and stuff, and just try and sort of be a little home from home for each other really.
I think it's probably underappreciated really, the kind of sacrifice that partners of footballers have got to make.
Yeah, it does, definitely does. I'm really lucky that she's came to live down here with me. Obviously I would be in the same situation where I'm coming home from training just till 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, whatever it is when I go to bed. I'll just be sort of trying to fill time and being bored, and I'm really sort of grateful that she's sort of come down here and live with us, and I obviously appreciate it a lot.
You mentioned Jamie Sterry. How big has that kind of little northeast family that you've got here with Luke Molyneux as well. How big has that been for you, for them, for everybody really?
Well, from our point of view, it's been like, I don't think you'll ever be able to measure how big it actually has been for us, but it's been like massive. Like, it's been everything, to be honest. Even from the first day I signed, obviously I knew Jamie had signed before me, and like, we drove down together and stuff, and just even like the little conversations we were having in the car coming down, and it just made us feel at ease, to be honest. And any problems I had, because obviously you don't know where you're sort of going to be within the team, and there was a lot of uncertainty when I signed. I didn't know what role I'd kind of play, so he was massive in terms of just telling us, you're doing well, like, just keep going, like, because obviously pre-season's an uncertain time, and we just leant on each other a lot. And obviously Jamie had injuries, and I tried to be there for him, but obviously it's difficult time for people, and obviously like I mentioned before, like, he's been massive for sort of my partner and his families. Obviously his wife and his 2 kids are amazing people, and we get on so well. And in my first year I lived like pretty much next door to Mols, and that was massive as well. I still do, to be fair, but we do a lot off the pitch, and obviously really close, and I think it just helps you stay sane. Like, as much as that sounds ridiculous, like, it's so tough sometimes when you're in the bubble of playing all the time and just onto the next game, and when you can find yourself in a bit of a rut, whether that's sort of individually or as a team, it's important to kind of take a step back and remember, you're a human being at the end of the day, and you just try to do your best for the team, and you try to do the best for the club. And I think the best way to do that is obviously by having them support networks off the pitch. So yeah, I'm really lucky to have them.
You have, as footballers, got an awful lot of time with your own head, haven't you? That's the thing. I think that's why the mindset thing's been so massive. You've got so much thinking time, and that can be a blessing and a curse.
Yeah, definitely can. I think a big challenge for footballers is not like falling down the wrong paths in that time, really. I think that's probably one of the biggest things, if not the biggest thing. I think that's a big reason why I'm trying to get into the mindset thing, because if I can spend, even if it is an hour or half an hour of the day when I've got that much time on my hands improving myself, then obviously that'll help. Like you said there, when you sort of got that much time, you just sit and think about every decision you've made in a game or training, or how could you done that better, and you get millions of sort of messages, you start reading things, and it can be tough. Like, it can be really difficult, but it's so rewarding at the same time. It's important to sort of just take a step back sometimes and remember, like, it's the best job in the world. Like, I'm doing this because I love it, and can I just find a way of switching off from football, remembering I'm just a normal person at the end of the day. So I think that is probably the biggest challenge of being a footballer, really, the off time.
Have you found life in Doncaster?
Yeah, really good. I think I was lucky that our Mols pretty much told us to move into where I did the first year, just next to the city centre, and when we were there, we got a chance to look at like everywhere you can possibly want to be, really. Obviously you walk into town, we used to go to Bordery quite a lot and go for little coffees and little walks around all the different places, and we're always looking for somewhere else to find, really. Obviously moved into a house now, and we're always walking around the lakeside, or kind of going to the cinemas and just going to different places, and everyone's been really good with me and my family, and they've all sort of took to me, so it's been really good, and I'm really enjoying living here, to be fair.
What's your favourite bit? What's your favourite thing about Donny?
Favourite thing about Donny? It's got to be the football club. I love the football club. As much as I do like it off the pitch, I love everything about the football club, the staff, the players, the stadium, everything, the fans. Like, it's just a great place to play footy, to be honest, and obviously the stadium's amazing to play in, so I just love the club, to be fair.
You mentioned about how your family's been embraced as well. It's been a big part of that away following at times and things as well, so they seem to have really took the club to heart as well. Yeah, they have.
I think I'm lucky to have a family that I do, to be fair. My dad watches us pretty much everywhere. My mum does when she can. My nana, granddad, brother, aunties. Like, honestly, I could sit here and name a million people who come down to watch us or go to away games and stuff. And I'm lucky to have that, to be fair. And yeah, the fans have been really good with the family, and obviously, it's like a football game. Sometimes people are going to have their opinions, and sometimes you don't want to hear certain things, but like, I've never really had that experience here, and you know, I think everyone's kind of respectful of the fact that at the end of the day you're a human being, and even if you're not kind of performing well on the pitch, it's not through a want to try, and you know, you're doing your best, and like my family have been really sort of well looked after, and people like Malk at the club, who is like an unbelievable human being, and just goes above and beyond. And like when I was moving from the flat to the house and stuff, like just did everything for us. You know, it's people like him who make you just feel so at home. And you know, he's like, I call him my Donny Dad, because if I've ever got anything that I need help with or any support or anything, you know, he's always only ever a phone call away. And you know, even he gets on so well with my family. So it's been really good, and I'm glad that my family like it, to be fair.
Yeah. We're speaking to you just a couple of days after your 100th appearance for the club. Incredible that you've done it in such a short space of time. 2 games since you've arrived that you've not played a part in. It must feel like a whirlwind to have got to this point. It's so quickly.
It is, yeah. It's strange because obviously last year we had 59 games and I played all 59, and like you don't realise at the time because you're just playing, like you're just so in the mode of wanting to win and wanting to get further in the cups and wanting to try and, like in the playoffs, you know, wanting to try and win the playoffs. And like it's not until afterwards you sit back and you think, I've played 59 games there, like that's a lot really. And then obviously same again this season, to take us to the 100. It's not until you get to milestones where you actually sit back and you think it is quite a lot, to be fair. But I'm lucky to have done it, and obviously I'm lucky to have been selected in all the games and grateful for that. But I'm just so happy I've stayed fit and proved my fitness, and my injuries are behind us now, and I just want to stay fit and available for every game, and I just want to play every game, and as long as I can play as long as I can in all the games, and try and affect the games as much as I can, whether that's with sort of defensive blocks or whether that's with sort of trying to chip in with goals and assists. I'm in the lucky position where obviously the role and position I play, that I can kind of be able to do both in different times of the game. So, you know, I love it, and hopefully I can continue to do that and keep churning out the appearances and be successful with them.
It's amazing when you kind of, as you said earlier, in terms of that first pre-season, a lot of uncertainty. Where will I play and stuff like that. To have, and then gone on to have played every single game last season. Yeah,
but when I first signed, you know, I had a lot of conversations with me dad and my granddad, and you know, everyone really, and it was the first conversations were like, you know, try and get in the squads, and you know, try and get as much game time as you can in that first season. And then obviously with injuries and stuff, and I got a lot of game time early on and played a lot, and obviously played well enough to keep me place in the team. But I probably didn't expect my chance to come that quickly. So, you know, for it to have happened, and then for now to have played the 100 games in such quick time, if you go back to that pre-season and you had told us that then, I wouldn't have believed you. So it's just so, like, it makes us proud really. I suppose that's probably the biggest takeaway from it. It makes us so happy and proud to have established me place in the team, and it's something I don't take for granted. I want to try and keep pushing on, and you know, I never feel like my position in the team's safe. You know, we've got a lot of quality in all positions, and I just want to try and keep performing and keep my performance levels high, and make sure I stay in the team really.
It must feel like a world away from that struggle that you had at Newcastle with the injuries that kept you out for such a long period of time.
Yeah.
To have gone on and played 100 games in a year and a half is yeah.
Yeah, it does. I remember times during that spell where I came back from my first operation and was really looking forward to playing and stuff, and then COVID happened, and then obviously got injured again with the same thing, and like just being distraught and thinking like the world's over. Do you know what I mean? I was in the last year of my contract, and I didn't know what the future would hold for us, to be honest. But I've got mates who've had to really struggling to get back to playing, and my brother's had 2 serious knee operations, so I'm one of the lucky ones who's come out the other side and is now gone on to play as many games as I have. So, you know, I'm really grateful that that's happened, and because I know it could have turned out so differently. And when you've got people close to you who have gone through and are still going through a lot of problems with their knees and stuff, and struggling to play footy games, then you realise like it is quite a lucky thing that I've had, that I've come through. And obviously I've worked hard. As much as I say it is luck, I've worked hard to get myself in the position I am, but there has been a lot of luck involved along the way with the recovery, because I could have done it again, and I probably would have been questioning whether I want to play anymore, to be honest, if I had done it again. So now I'm...
But that kind of picking yourself back up one more time.
Yeah, I think it was very much that kind of way, because I was the issue was quite complex, and I kept coming back in training and it kept swelling up again, and it was one of them where no one kind of knew the answers. So it got to a point where it was almost trial and error. Like, if it doesn't work, then like, what can you do, sort of thing. Like, no one knew, but luckily it has worked, and you know, it seems like a lifetime ago now, but when you think back to them times, it makes times like now so much more sweeter, and it makes you really not take anything for granted. You know, you just want to enjoy everything when it's happening.
I was going to say, how as devastating as that time must have been, how important has it been in your career, do you think?
Yeah, it has. I think when things come easy, it's easy to just get sort of carried away and just go with the flow, and I think that comes again with a lot of the mindset stuff. Like, I think you need tough times to sort of come out the other side, and I think that's sort of moulded me into the person and player I am today, and I don't think I would be anywhere near as good as I am, or as hardworking and determined to sort of win as I am now if it wasn't for them times.
I'm assuming that your family were massive for you in that period as well, but who were big people in kind of helping you through it and keeping focused and keeping, you know, positive as much as it could be?
I'd say, well, like I said before, it would definitely be my family. You know, my mum, dad, brother, my missus, and then our granddad. Like, just I'm close with all them, and you know, they never ever let us get down, and they were so big for us. But my friends as well. You know, I'm so close with all my friends, and they understand what you're going through. Like, one of my best mates has gone through a lot of knee operations as well, and he's struggling to get back playing. And you know, I've had other ones who've had hamstring issues and stuff. You know, we've all had our own little problems, and we lean on each other a lot. And you know, we've got a really good close group of lads who just want to see each other do well at the end of the day. We're kind of, obviously we came through together at Newcastle, a lot of us, and we know how good we can be when we're fit and available, and we just want to see each other succeed. And obviously when I got me 100 games, like, they're the first people to message us saying well done, and they just genuinely want to see you do well, and it's vice versa. When they're doing well, I want to see them do well. So yeah, I think they were massive people for me time, and obviously the physios at Newcastle were massive for us. Fraser and Steve and Carl, like, got on so well with them, and yeah, they were great for me.
Physios are massive, aren't they? Big part of things, and you know, if that's working, if that's successful, then you know, but not just in terms of how they treat you, but how they treat you as a person as well, and kind of that figure that you can go to. Yeah, they are. I think it's important to get the balance right, isn't it? Because as much as they want to tell you everything's going to be all right, sometimes it's not. So the ones that I've worked with have always been amazing in terms of putting the person first. Like, you know, they want you to be back playing, and they want you to be available for the team. But ultimately, like, they've got your long-term sort of health and career in their mind. And obviously I had that at Newcastle, and now obviously with Dave coming in at Doncaster, like, he's a amazing bloke, and you know, I lean on Dave a lot and speak to Dave a lot about, you know, just different things, personal like problems, or you know, anything really, how I can sort of affect games more physically, how I can be better. And I'm just looking forward to working with Dave longer, and you know, really sort of refining that side of my game, because he's an unbelievable physio, and he's a great bloke as well. Have you kind of took it upon yourself to be a figure of support as well for others that are going through injuries? It might not be as severe as what you went through, but if you're out for 3 months, it seems like an age as a footballer. Yeah, I try to. I think sometimes it's hard, because when you sit, like, if someone's injured and someone's constantly saying how you doing, you just start getting annoyed, because you think, well, nothing's changed, you know what I mean? And you almost don't want the questions all the time. So it's trying to get the balance of not pestering people, but making sure they know, like, you know, if you're struggling, or you know, whatever, just give us a shout. Like, if you want to do something, or if you want to, you know, ask me about
how I dealt with it or whatever. But everyone's different, you know. Sometimes people just want to go into their own little shell and not really speak, and that's their way of dealing with it. Or some people want to, you know, go and speak to everyone and try and like open their heart to people and confide in people, really. So everyone's got their own different way, but I try and be there for people as much as I can. And hopefully we won't get many more injuries. But if they do, then obviously I'll be there for people.
Gaffer kind of touched on it last week when we were talking about you coming up to your 100th appearance and kind of the work that you've done on things like diet and your physique and stuff like that, and kind of praising that sort of work. Can you give us a bit of insight into what you've kind of looked at?
Yeah, just did a lot of work with Dave. You know, spoke to Dave about how I can be better, and you know, I think when you're doing all right on the pitch and you're playing well, you're just sort of not thinking about them things. You're just sort of eating what you want, and it's just sort of how get ready for the next game. But you're not really bothered about what you are eating and you know what your diet looks like. And I think now, obviously, having spoken to Dave a lot, and just little things like having less carbs, like small things that make a massive difference and help us feel leaner and sort of more able to get around the pitch. Like, I don't think I've ever had a problem with that, but I think that's probably a reason why you should get better at it, because just because you can do something doesn't mean you can't be better. Like, I think that's the biggest takeaway I had from it. Like, because I would say I'm always someone who's quite powerful and can get up and down the pitch and affect both boxes, but by being leaner and fitter, it allows us to do it more and affect both boxes more. So I think going forward, I just want to keep sort of refining that and keep just becoming fitter and stronger and being able to sort of get up and down the pitch more. And yeah, it seems to be working at the minute, and long may that continue, really.
It's kind of as you go up the levels, you kind of see the levels of athleticism increase. You come up against Premier League teams and they are like proper elite kind of athletes as well, and making these changes can kind of help you get to that level yourself. Yeah,
it can, definitely. I think obviously it's difficult because our league is our league, and ultimately physically you've got to be able to handle yourself. And I think if I lost too much weight and was dead skinny all of a sudden, I think I'd probably struggle to compete physically. So it's getting the balance, really. I'm lucky, I've always been someone who's quite stocky, so you know, hopefully I'll always be able to kind of put myself about in that way. But yeah, when you see the Premier League lads sort of putting it around the corner and sprint and how sharp they are, it really shows you, you know, that if you want to play at that level or if you want to compete at that level, that's sort of the physicality that you need to aspire to get to. So if I can get as close to that as possible, then, you know, hopefully we can continue to progress.
What was that like at Newcastle, being around that sort of environment and the quality of players that you have been around in training?
Yeah, it was amazing. Obviously the likes of like John Joe Shelby was probably the standout person in terms of his technical ability back then. You'd just be next to him in training, he'd just pick out the top corner from 30 yards as if it's nothing. And you realise, like, these people are different. You know, he's seeing passes that you can't even imagine. It's little things like that where you really do think, wow, these are supreme players. But at the same time, it's how they conduct themselves in and around the building and off the pitch as well. Like, you know, they look after themselves so well, and physically they're so good, but mentally as well they're so good, and they never let things affect them. And obviously up in Newcastle we've got 52,000 fans at every game, but also you've got thousands that aren't there, and you know, you get abuse and you get praise and you get everything you could possibly get thrown at you, and seeing how they deal with it is, you know, it's so useful for lads like us who are obviously not on that as sort of high a scale in terms of the volume, but you know, you still get the different challenges of that. So you know, you sort of take things like that and try and use that in your own career, really.
How was it being in that kind of under 21s, under 23s setup in Newcastle? We know it's such a goldfish bowl. Are you recognised a lot from that? People have got that kind of obsession.
Yeah, you do. To be fair, you get a lot of the time when you go out, you know, you got people who kind of New Year's, like the 21s player, do you know what I mean? Like, and it is weird, like everyone knows everyone up there. It is like a goldfish bowl, like everyone knows everything about everyone. So I think that was why I was glad to come down here as well, because when you're up there, everything's Newcastle, Newcastle, Newcastle. Whereas down here, you know, you've got loads of different clubs and there's a lot going on, and you know, it's a bit more spread out and stuff, and it's a bit easier to sort of take yourself out of that. And obviously, because my family aren't like Donny fans originally, everyone in my family would have been a Newcastle fan back then. So every family party you go to, whatever, it's like asking you for little inside info about different players, and you know, it comes from a good place, but everyone wants to know like what's Shelby doing, or what, you know what I mean. Everyone's desperate to know these things. So to obviously come out of that and have it in a different way, it's nice, and it's refreshing to sort of be in a different place to play football, really.
You could have been here earlier.
Yeah.
You know, you had that trial. As much as you'd have wanted to join the club at that time, I think it were beneficial for you that you didn't, in terms of what you were coming out off the back of at Newcastle, and then what that spell at Gateshead really did for you.
I think looking back now, I think it's probably the best thing I did was actually getting told that there was nothing here for us. Because, you know, I was training with the club for, I think it was 3-4 weeks, and played in a few different games. And I was more or less told I would be offered something, and then we played a couple of games and stuff, and I hadn't really played midfield too much, but I was more or less told that, you know, the way I was trying to receive the ball and my angles and stuff weren't kind of what the manager at the time was looking for. So yeah, it was frustrating at the time, don't get us wrong. I was gutted when they didn't sign us, because I was, in my head, I'd pretty much signed. But I had to pick myself up, and luckily Lewis Story from Gateshead, who's one of my best mates, he said, come and train with us, and you know, you might just enjoy it. It might be the best thing for you, and it was. You know, we played Hartlepool in the friendly, and I came on, and Hartlepool were League 2 at the time, and we won 4-1, I think it was, and I was blown away with like how well we played, and you know, just seeing how well the team was and how good the team was, and I thought, you know, this is somewhere I definitely want to be. So I signed on the back of that, and went on to win the league that season and play some really good football, and you know, I got to spend time with some of my best mates from Newcastle and stuff, and you know, it was a massive year for me, that, and really learnt a lot about my role in the team and in midfield and stuff. And then going on to the next year into the National League, obviously it was a much tougher standard, and we struggled at the start of the season, but we picked ourselves up and ended up staying up comfortably, and then got to Wembley on the back of it. So it was 2 unbelievable years really to get a promotion and then get to Wembley, and it just felt like it was the perfect sort of set up for me to then sort of go into the Football League. And then obviously when Donny came back in, there was no kind of sour grapes or anything like that about the trial. Because I'd been to the club, I knew how good the facilities were in the stadium and training ground, and it was a no-brainer really to come and try and play here.
Talking a little bit about you as in that captaincy role, and all the experiences will no doubt tie into that, but when people were doing, and David does his question of the week and things like that, the one on the comedian, who would be the comedian in the squad, you come out on top of that in terms of everybody saying you. Have you got to find that mix? You know, is it important first and foremost that, although you might be a captain, you might be kind of one of the central figures, you've just kind of got to be part of the squad and be yourself really, and bring your own personality to it? Yeah,
I think, to be honest, I think that's probably one of the biggest things I took away from Gateshead was, at the end of the day, you're a human being, like, and you've got to bring your personality, and you've got to put that in the group. You know, I had loads of conversations with Lewis, who I mentioned before, who got us to go to Gateshead, and he was on about how, you know, my personality's good to affect the group and how it can sort of bring out the best in people. And you know, like, I love having a laugh, and I love having a joke, and I think it's sometimes difficult to get the balance right, but when you do get the balance right, it's really powerful, and it's something I'm always trying to do, and I always want to try and be someone who, as much as they do love a laugh and a joke and having a bit of fun in the training ground and whatever, when it's time to work and time to sort of be serious and put yourself about and, you know, work hard for the club or for whatever, I kind of know that I can do that and switch it on, and it's just a balance. I think it's just a balancing game, really, and there'll be times where I'm too serious and people are probably unhappy, and there'll be times where I'm too jokey and people are unhappy, but I'm always trying to get the balance right, and I think when you do get that balance right, it's a great place to be, and you know, everyone will feel the same way, like when you're having a laugh but you're also playing really well, and then when it's time to sort of switch it on and you do it, it's a really, really good place to be, and I think that's when you're going to be a successful team.
Has it ever got you in bother, being a bit of a joker?
not for a while, to be fair. I think I'm getting boring now with my older age. I'm 26. I'm getting on. So no, I don't think I've had too much bother. Trying to think. When I was under 18s, I was singing out of a window once. One of the lads had released a song, so I was singing that out the window, and the manager wasn't too happy about that. So I got a bit of a slap on the wrist for that one, but nothing too serious. You know, as much as I like a laugh, I'd never do nothing too daft. I know when's time to shut up and listen. So no, I try and stay out of trouble too much.
It is important though, that laugh, that being able to be light-hearted and fun element to it as well, because you spend an awful lot of time together as players, don't you? When we've touched on as well already, how much time you've got in general. You know, it simply cannot be 100% serious all the time. No,
definitely. And I think, to be fair, from staff, players, everyone, I think the balance we've got with that at the minute is like really good. You know, we love playing darts and cards on the back of the bus and just having a laugh on the way to games and on the day before games, whatever, on the day of games. But then when we're on the way to the stadium or to the ground, wherever we're going to be, you know, it's very much sort of game faces on, like let's do it now, let's sort of get the 3 points, and I think we've got a really, really good group for that. You know, there's a lot of that play the cards and the darts and love having the laugh. But then, like I said, when the time comes to play, we'll get it right.
You were captain at 21s at Newcastle, and obviously you've had one armband this season. How different is it, you know, as a role from that level to this?
I think the biggest difference is obviously the age and respect you've got for people. When I was at the 21s, obviously I was probably one of the older ones anyway, and there would have been people maybe 1-2 years above us, but like not massively older than us, and everyone's kind of experienced the same things, so you know, you don't feel like inferior to people. Whereas obviously you look at our changing room and you've obviously got the likes of Woody and Sharpie and Irons and Sterry, you know, loads of lads who've played at higher levels and played a million games and stuff, and it's Tom, should mention Tom as well. You know, it's a sort of a different dynamic, but you know, they've got a lot of kind of respect for me, and I feel so like welcomed by them, and I feel like, you know, that people listen to us, and that's the biggest thing for me, really. I think as a captain, you know, you just want to be listened to, and you can obviously lead in different ways, you know, whether that's shouting and ranting and raving, or whether that's sort of by the way that you play and the way that you represent yourself. I think I'm someone who, as much as I do like talk a bit and like to try and give little pointers, I'm not a massive sort of talker after games and shouter. I'm someone who prefers to try and lead by the things that I do, and by, you know, whether it's making a big tackle or whether it's sort of driving forward and winning headers and putting my body where it hurts, and I feel like I'm someone who, the way that I do that, I would be sort of the example that I want to set, and would try and, like, the way that I would want to lead is by example, really. So yeah, and obviously I lean on Woody a lot on his experience. He's obviously the captain, but he's spent a lot of time injured, and you know, I'm trying to just get as much little pointers off him as I can, sort of how he's captain teams and stuff, and even little things like fines and stuff. You know, just how he does it and how he conducts himself, because, you know, I've always been someone who's kind of been captain the teams, and it's something I want to do for a longer time, and you know, if I do get to do that, I want to know how to sort of handle the fines and little bits like that.
It's been interesting to see how he's kind of used that again a bit recently, and just trying to that little kick up the backside, just at right time. I suppose that's what you're kind of talking about, when to use those things and when to introduce things, or when to back off. Yeah,
it is. I think that's probably the thing I've struggled with most as a captain, is just the fines and stuff, because I get on so well with all the lads. I don't want to be someone who's like yeah, gives 50 quid for dirty boots or whatever. Do you know what I mean? So that's another thing about getting the balance right. So Woody coming in and the other weekend he was back on the fines and just keeping the discipline right, I suppose, and that goes a long way on the pitch as well. So yeah, little bits like that will only help.
What a moment that were at Accrington when he came on, Woody, for that last 90 seconds. That header he won, I think he got a massive cheer from Rovers supporters. Everybody's absolutely delighted to see him back.
Yeah, it was great. It was magnificent for him. Obviously, behind the scenes, seeing how hard he's worked and how many little setbacks he's had. It's been hard to watch, to be fair, and he's someone who never lets himself get down, and he would never ever show that he's down, and that's just a testament to the man that he is, to be honest. He's an unbelievable bloke and an unbelievable leader, and yeah, when he came on and he's helping with defend at the end and winning them headers and stuff, and you're just so happy for him. And after when the whistle went, first thing I said was welcome back, Woody. Like, I was just so happy for him. So yeah, hopefully he's going to play a massive part in the rest of the season and in helping us again.
Well, that was somebody you would definitely look up. I know you've touched on it, but kind of look up to and hope to go on and achieve what he's managed to achieve.
Yeah, I think obviously you just look at what he's done in the game. He's a legend, really, isn't he, of the Football League, and if I achieve anywhere near what he has, I'll have had a really good career. So yeah, he's definitely someone I look up to. And I remember when I went to watch one of my friends play for Rotherham in the final at Wembley, and even after the game, how he conducted himself and stuff, and you could tell how much of a respected person he was. And even he loves a laugh as well, but he gets the balance right of when to have a laugh and when to sort of be serious. So he's someone I'm always going to kind of look up to and try and sort of replicate the way he acts.
Was that the final when he scored?
Yeah, it was.
He likes to remind. A very humble man, but he likes to remind people they've scored twice.
He often does say that one.
In your role on the pitch, you are everywhere. You've kind of touched upon it. How enjoyable is that? To be, and obviously you've got the physicality to be able to deal with all that, but to be able to be often you're the deepest man, but then next minute you're looking, you're the furthest man forward.
Yeah, it's great, and obviously the gaffers give us the licence to do that even within games. If I'm playing as one of the midfielders and I've got the licence to sort of run in behind or press and press the goalkeepers and stuff and get in the box and stuff, like you said, they'll be one of the furthest players forward. I love doing that, and I love trying to sort of get on the end of crosses and score headers and try and create chances. But then also on the flip side, I love being the deepest man and when I'm in the middle of the back three and starting attacks and stuff and getting on the ball and sort of dictating the play and trying to set up attacks and being the last line of defence and winning headers and tackles and blocks and stuff. So being able to play them different roles and have the sort of putting the responsibility on me to be able to do that from the staff, it's a great thing to do and something I love doing. I just love sort of being involved in the action, and I want to try and be involved in both boxes as much as I can, really.
And the way things are going at the minute, it's definitely enjoyable, winning matches, competing exactly where we want to be.
Yeah, obviously first season for a large spell we weren't where we wanted to be, and that was probably a tough time for everyone involved, fans, players, staff, everyone. But now we're at the end of the table where we want to be, and we still feel like there's more to come from the group, but it's so enjoyable going out there every week expecting to win and putting pressure on yourself to win, and hopefully sort of staying in and around that top three. It's a great thing, and it's exciting to be part of.
So these interviews always finished with the same question, and it's when all said and done, when you finish, when you hang up your boots, how would you like people to talk about what at that point, what would you like people to be saying about you as a player, as a person, and what you brought to the game?
I think as a player, probably someone who just is never beat. I think I like to think of myself as someone who's determined and just always wants to try and score the winner or make the block at the end of the game and just be a winner, really. I think that's what I want to be remembered for, someone who's just always going to put their body on the line and do the things that no one else really wants to do. And as a person, just someone who has a laugh but gets it right. I like to think of myself as someone who's a bit of a leader, but without taking myself too seriously at times. So just trying to get that balance, really. Someone who's just, I want to be known as funny but hard working, really. I suppose that's probably how I'd want to be remembered.
Top man, appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Cheers.